The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old.
So I was playing back through a couple games, including like Shadow of the Colossus, and I think something I realized is that ultimately I actually have a bit of a fear of giants.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you call it fee-fi phobia.
Way to start it off. Wow, okay. He's back. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. 2022, dad jokes.
Who would not like dad jokes? I don't get. They're perfect in every way.
Again, in our house here, we rate them on a scale of 1 to 10. So my kids will just immediately responsibly be like, that's 7.
Yes.
Right?
Just
You know where you
immediate
stand.
number, like
Yeah. No,
really-
like laugh or anything. Well, if it's laughing, it's a 10. That's a giveaway.
Okay.
But yeah,
So you should give them placards so they can just like carry it on and hold it up.
that's right.
Now, people who do like our dad jokes are those who are leaving reviews. We got a couple of reviews this week on iTunes and Spotify. Everybody, thank you so much for that. I can't express enough how much it means to Jeff and I when you leave a review and a rating on iTunes, Spotify, any of the platforms. This week came from a friend of the show, Jordan LaRose. Now, most interestingly is he didn't leave his name and didn't leave a call out on the review. It was just a really nice sentiment. Beer and Dad Life 101. Really enjoying the show, guys. Length is great, and the conversation is something I look forward to each week. Cheers. But haha, we have you on Twitter, so we can call you out as a big thank you. And even further, though, Jordan is a podcaster himself. So not only is he Canadian, much like me and Jeff, also has a podcast called Royal City Gaming. So if you look up for a podcast, another one to check out, Royal City Gaming. A weekly gaming podcast releasing every Friday about video games, movie, and all things dad. So
Nice.
Right in our wheelhouse. We love to see it. Jordan,
Yeah.
thank you so much for the review. That means so much to us. Now, in addition, we had another call out from a friend of the show, Tori D, and that's at Shifty25 on Twitter, with what looks to be legalized poison, Jeff.
Yeah, this is a different type of call out. when you say,
Terrifying. So he says, this has to be the strongest beer I've ever had. He's replying to our tweet announced in the last show's episode. This has to be the strongest beer I've ever tried. I challenge y'all to give it a shot, as it's got a heck of a bite. Bite being very apropos, as it's called Dragon's Milk. Bourbon barrel aged stout at 11%.
I'm pretty sure it's just melting the bottle.
It's just bourbon. It's not bourbon aged. It's just bourbon. Like, that's crazy.
Looking forward to that show when that happens, right?
So we've taken a look so far. I haven't seen it available. I'm going to keep my eye on it. That would be. I don't know if I'd want to record the official podcast while downing this beer because it would get very sloppy towards the end. But
Yeah.
would love to try to get, as soon as we can find it, we're going to try to have it on the show.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Tori, for the call out there. Now, he's calling us out on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is at New Dad Gaming. Very apropos because that's the name of the show. Usernames can be very important. And Jeff,
Yes.
it kind of seems like you had a bit of a situation with the usernames and your kids.
So, yeah, my kids are now older, again, 8 and 11, and they're starting to get into their own like online space, even so much so as buying digital games under their profile name.
Yeah,
So-
and your son is a pro Minecraft player at this
That's
stage,
right.
too.
That's right. So you got to make
Competitive.
your name for yourself. You start now, right? So I, talking this over with my kids, I'm like, okay, do you remember how hard it was to name them? To name your kids, picking out names. Maybe you had one in your mind, but then the second one's a problem because you took your best one for the first one.
You don't say that.
Shh. They might listen to this later.
Your second choice.
But it takes some thought because like a name says a lot, like what you put into it, what others put into it. So with an online profile, it's kind of like naming your kid all over again. And do you let them pick out a name for themselves? Because I've heard their suggestions and I don't like them. I'm like, this is not what you want. Because I've kept my online name from when the internet was born for, 30 years. So this is something that could live with them at least with Nintendo if they buy games under them, right? Like again, it's bound to an account. So do you let your kids pick their own name and have their ownership out of their like in that internet space, that alias is theirs, or do you guide them? Kind of.
Yeah, I was going to say the kind of. So I don't think what you're suggesting is, much like you gave them their name without their
Right.
consent, you will give them their username. I am your father. This is what you'll be known in Minecraft, damn it.
It'll be like Junior, whatever my alias is, right? So like
Yeah, so Kingslayer85
exactly Junior. Senior and Junior. It's done.
That would be pretty dope if you're like getting accosted in some online game by a team and it's all
Bring
just
in
like
reinforcements.
junior.
Yeah.
It's like oh, how sweet is that? It's a family. But I think so. All you're advocating is the fact that we as gamers, we've all had an awful email, an awful username, awful gamer tag, whatever, and you, and then all your friends add you, and the pain of changing it is not necessarily worth. It's a balance of like how painful is it to change it versus how painful is it to keep being called this.
Right.
So, well, all you're suggesting is, as a dad, how much do you want to guide your kid with all the wisdom that years of gaming and being online has bestowed upon you? Did I summarize that right?
Yeah, exactly. And just again, maybe a little bit of a kicker is that most of the options are already gone.
Oh, that's the worst.
Right? So the conversation has gone like, okay, you guide them into a kind of a space that they are comfortable with, and then, nope, username's taken. That Steam username is taken. And then they start adding numbers to it. I'm like, no, don't be one of those. We don't want that Sharky Boy 66762. Like, no, not gonna work.
So what was your angle on it? Was it because there's the obvious pitfalls of, Paw Patrol lover 25, and you're like, okay, like I appreciate that you like Paw Patrol now.
Yeah.
But when you're 18, maybe that's not going to go. And then, or they'll say, Johnny Kill-A-Lot 69. You're like, okay, I know you see that number a lot online.
Yeah.
You should not use that for yourself in your username. So how have you navigated it? And has it just been, what do you like? And then you kind of like walk it back. Like, where are you at?
Yeah. The conversation's kind of been scattered a little bit, especially with my older one who he plays a lot of Minecraft, as we mentioned at the beginning of the show. So his initial reaction is like Headshot King. And I'm like, okay, let's not do that. One, it's gone. Two, kind of violent. Let's not go into that space. So like walking back from that, what do you like? What could be unique to you? And then he starts putting his name into it. I'm like, no. Okay, so now we're into safety online. Online safety. You never put your name in your alias or gamer tag. Even the emails linked to it probably shouldn't have your name on it. And don't say your name in the chats. Like, none of this, right? So we walked that back, things he liked and that maybe were a bit unique. And I think we came up with something that worked and that he was happy with and I was happy with and Steam was happy with because no one had taken it.
His second father, Steam.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So that's good. Like, if any other gaming devs have had this scenario, we'd love to hear how you handled it. I remember this came up, I mentioned a few episodes ago, where to sign up for certain games, they needed emails.
Right.
And even if it was just going to be like local Minecraft, they had to have emails and an entire like
Microsoft
setup
accounts for that, right?
account. Perfect. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So I could care less for them to have emails, but it's like I need to have an account so we can all game together. Fine, whatever. But there was that same inflection point where I don't want to just be some random string of numbers. It'd be kind of cool if I could grab their name, like a decent representation of their name they could have as an email going forward.
Right.
That'd be awesome. So a lot of thought went into that. A mistake I realized I made was one of the usernames for my kid's Microsoft account, so we could all play Minecraft, which we'll talk about in a second. Is like he likes gymnastics, like he was in gymnastics currently.
Yeah.
And I just need to add some extra characters. And what I ended up with, without thinking, was Gymnasta.
Okay.
Gymnasta. I'm looking at it after the fact. And I'm like, that's not right, but it's It's not wrong, but it's definitely not right.
Yeah.
It's like gymnastic. Like that's not good.
And
So
that's created, right? Like that's already done.
yeah,
Or,
but that is gonna get destroyed. That's like that's anyone who wants it, go ahead and take it. That's gonna be off because like
yeah.
it's like that's just weird.
Yeah.
That
Well, some things need to be retired at certain points.
sooner than later.
Yeah.
Like I could see it. Like it almost be like what's the name of the famous Twitch doctor?
Oh, Dr. Disrespect.
Dr. Disrespect, right? You can see like gymnastics. It almost feels like like they could partner up someday in a big collaboration. But
That's right. Well, he's setting them up for a money day.
we'll wait until they're 18. Hey, gaming dads, if you have any great stories about trying to name or give your kid a username and steering them with all of your gaming dad wisdom, we'd absolutely love to hear it. Reach out to us at New Dad Gaming or newdadgaming.com. Now, I alluded to the fact that we had gotten into some Minecraft. And what was most interesting about it was this is the first time it was a full family affair. So,
Right. Okay.
So what I realized is, kids are always asking to play with me, which is one of my greatest joys now. The fact that they want to play games and like, oh, please play with us, Dad. It's like, yes, like we did it. We made it. Everything paid off.
Achievement unlocked. This is great. I love it.
But they'd get into some games and it's only two, so we'd have to take turns and whatever else. But local multiplayer for Minecraft, as far as one system, you can only have two. But I'm looking at what we have. It's like, wait, I could do this. Like I have a Switch, I have the Xbox. So 2 kids on the Xbox and then me on the Switch.
Okay.
And it was the suggestion was there, like, okay, who wants to be on what system? Like, do one of you want to have the Switch? No, they both want the Xbox. And there it is. Like, there's all 3 of us. So I'm sitting there on the Switch. I'm sitting there trying to build like a beautiful little house, like carved out of a mountain. They're setting the village on fire with throwing TNT into the stuff I'm creating. It was a full family affair. Like, do you remember like the first time you'd had the full crew represented in a game?
Yeah. It was funny because my son said, oh, okay, Dad, we need you to build part of the foundation of this house we want to build, right? So I'm down there, and my son's giving me orders. Sure, son, I'll do it. Whatever, role reversal, I got it. So I'm going down to build this hole for the foundation of this house that we're going to have. And I look up, and all of a sudden it's black because he's filling the dirt in.
Oh, my God.
On top of me. I'm like, thanks. This is amazing. This is what you want to do. And he's laughing his head off. So that was my experience. Like, it was funny, but a little bit... a little bit evil, like, ha ha ha, Dad, you're buried now. I'm like, oh, great, thanks.
It's like, so your first act, son, was to put me into a coffin, just to bury me, like literally bury me.
You're not getting your inheritance.
I'll take my PS5 to the grave. Thank you
That's
very
right.
much.
Bury me with all my treasures.
But it was great. Like, yeah, because our little guy got into Minecraft and just the inspiration struck like this weekend, like represented the first time that we were able to all get on together, and huge success. And they kept trying to in game they'd come and find me and then drag me back to something that they've done.
Oh, perfect.
Either something super creative or super destructive. And like it's like, fine, this is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the stuff they've built though, like obviously this continues to be a recurring theme, and I almost want to avoid repeating ourselves, but the amount of creativity that they show in this game is just stunning. Like this, they built this house on top of, it would have been, God, it feels like 4 kilometers, like 6 miles, like high. And there's lava pouring off the side. And they built like horns onto it, and the excitement, especially that they had in showing it to me.
Right.
I was like, oh, like Dad, come and you got to see what we built. You got let me show you. And they're trenching up the side of it. They're trying to like show off all the unique features of it. Like, just God, this game is like. Does it ever just make you wonder? Does it ever cause you to stop in amazement at what they're doing with this thing?
A lot of times, because you're just like, if you put all this energy into other things that I've asked you to do, it wouldn't be so hard. Like, again, my kids can create fantastic sculptures in Minecraft, and then outside of video games, they're like, I don't like art, or at least, well, my youngest likes to draw, but like, we could sculpt with clay, and you could do that like you were in Minecraft. And like, no, not the same. I don't want to do it. No. And then we have tons of Lego. I'm literally looking at a tower of Lego over here. And I'm like, well, we need to get rid of it because it's just staying there and you don't play with it. He's like, yeah, but it's like a memory and it kind of reminds me of Minecraft and I would totally play with it. I'm like, but you don't. You go to the screen and you play with Minecraft. So a lot cleaner that way. I get it. But yeah, like I'm with you. A lot of the stuff in Minecraft is great. I'm surprised that your youngest got into it so quickly because it took my youngest like a while. It is a very complicated game in like that 3D space, but if he's fun just tooting around, all the better. You guys are laughing, having fun, and no one's at each other's throats. That's a great time in my book.
It sort of mimics actually your experience with when your kid taught the cousin.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Where he was so excited, the cousin wanted to play, and then eventually that kind of inclusion. I think there's part of the older kid including the younger one that gives more inspiration to the younger to want to pursue it a bit.
Right.
So I think the fact that it allowed him to have some creativity. He's able to play a game with his big older brother that, of course, he loves so much. And then the fact that his older brother brought him along and taught him it. His older brother's excited that there's someone else to share in his world and his creativity. All paired together, I think, kind of drove him to learn enough to boot around.
Yeah.
Like
well,
go on.
That's it's a cool thing because speaking of the older to younger brother, I'm trying to get the older, at least my 11-year-old, into the mod scene of Minecraft. Like now that you've mastered Minecraft, let's look at the mod scene and see what you can actually add to this game. So I gave him a couple ideas. He's kind of tooling around with his head, but the younger brother wants to follow the older brother. So if I can get them into like that, not code side of it, but do you know what I mean? Like adding to the game that they love because they play with a whole bunch of mods that other people have created, right? So now's the time to experiment and like what is your creative vision for this game? And does everyone have capes? Let's make a cape mod. You know what I mean? Like, and then I would learn because I haven't done modding since Quake days. Like that is going back in my mind, like back in my day. We had to type in IP addresses, like so I don't know. It's a cool way to kind of drag the younger one along and get him into this stuff and then show his friends. And then he's like, he thinks he's the cool kid. He's like, look at all the stuff I can do. I learned from my brother. This is awesome.
That's awesome. Now, have you received the same? I guarantee you've been seeing the same ads I do because you search for Minecraft and immediately.
Oh yeah,
you're tagged.
Yeah.
So you must have seen the ads where it says coding boot camp for kids in Minecraft.
Yep.
Have you considered it? Because mine are a bit young, but I think yours are about the age that they could actually do it. So this is, as best I could tell from the ad, an online virtual class held inside of a Minecraft server. And they're taught fundamentals of programming. Because with, Minecraft and some of the more advanced stuff, you can build basic calculators and other things like that. So teaching the fundamentals of programming and coding inside of Minecraft. Have you considered that as a super sneaky way to get some education in?
I have clicked on that ad multiple times and never pulled the trigger. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like one of those things like this would be, I think this is a good idea, right? But I don't know because I don't want to suck I'm not saying suck the fun away, but I don't want to make it like work to him. And he's old enough now to kind of call out what I'm doing. Like you're manipulating me. I get it. Like, so I think he would enjoy it. It's just the prices on that is a couple $100 to enjoy it. So if he doesn't, I'm out that money, which, I fully will invest in my kids. But right now it's just like, tell me if you want to do this. Right. And he hasn't really said if you would, but I have seen those ads multiple times. They know their audience. They know they're on me, and I'm just so close to going to those classes. So I'm gonna sit there more.
I wonder if, I do wonder if you could do it. Doesn't sound like you can trick him. So this isn't going to be a sneaky education.
No.
Fine. I do wonder if you could show. They must have promotional videos and like talk about what they build.
Oh, they do.
I do wonder if you sit him down and like, all right, there's this thing. You learning some coding or programming is highly beneficial on multiple levels.
Yeah.
Right? So I would be happy to pay this for you to do this, but would you actually do this? Then you show them some of the... I wonder if you can have the heart-to-heart and see if you can get them interested. I want to live through you, Jeff, because I want my kids to do it. But I need to know that it works.
That's right. And I'll come back with a review and then let everybody else know. So yeah, no, I think that could work. Having that conversation with him, even with virtual school right now, he's really into scratch coding, right? So that's that online just coding blocks. And he will take it, a step further than the class because he gets really deep into it. So if I kind of like link it to that, saying, hey, you really enjoy it, let's pull it back to something like a game you love too, and then see what that's all about and have the classroom. You probably meet up in the class in the game, which is cool. Like that's a virtual classroom within the game that you love. I never had that. I think that would be amazing. So I don't know. We'll see if he thinks it's amazing. It's something to consider for sure.
God, man, please do get it done.
I'm
I
here
wanna live
for
through
your experiments. Yeah.
Yeah, but that and the modding scene, it just seems like such a great way to merge some education with a game that they love. Right, here we are. We're gonna have to take a vow to not talk about Minecraft next week.
That's right. Yeah.
It's been fairly Minecraft heavy, but sort of been the angle that it's been at this house, and sound like it's certainly been
Oh yeah.
the driver of yours. And I'm sure a lot of gaming dads are right there with us on that.
Yeah, for sure. It's the mantra here every day. Minecraft. It's just
So if any other gaming dads have taken that programming course, then can report back to us and all the gaming dads, or just have thoughts.
suggestions, just recommendations on how to
Yes.
push it further because there's potential there. Like let's take advantage of it for sure.
Right. Reach out to us at New Dad Gaming or newdadgaming.com. Now, Minecraft exists in VR. I don't know if you've ever played it on the PSVR,
No.
or if you might be interested in playing it on the PSVR 2 that just got announced. So Sony, not out of nowhere, like everyone knew it was a PSVR.
It was coming.
PSVR 2 was going to come.
Yeah.
I don't know that I really saw anyone peg that they would officially announce it anytime soon.
No,
Kind of felt like maybe fall for a Christmas release type of thing, but they done did it, Jeff. They got on stage, they had a guy in a suit. There's some fancy graphics, and the PSVR 2 is official. What's the reaction in your household for that?
Okay, so I wasn't expecting it, but I am totally on board for PSVR 2. I mean, my wallet probably hates me for it, but my kids saw it, and now that they're older, they totally want in on it because they see how much better it is and all the other games that can come to it. So Minecraft obviously would be a big one in this game, in this field. And I'm really excited for it. I am so afraid of what that price point will be, but
God, that's
I am on board. I don't know. We'll see. It's much better though, like way better than what the previous was. Even just like from a gaming dad perspective, one cord instead of like the breakout box to like 6 other cords to hook it back into your PlayStation 4. I don't know. It's collecting dust right now. It's just a lot. So I'll be the one to bite the bullet on this maybe, and then I'll lend it to you because that's what happened in the beginning, right?
the
You
full
let me.
circle. That's so
That's
nice.
right. And then you'll buy it, and then that'll be the sales pitch.
It's like, honey, like try this. You got to get it. Solving the challenges of setting it up. Now, I even at the time, I hated the cables in the boxes and everything else. And as a gaming dad, having all of those wires, those potential kid trip points,
Yeah.
were
Yes.
kind of a non-starter. And then it comes down to, well, how often do I want to be immersed into this other world while I have
Right.
infants and everything else around? It felt a bit distant,
Yeah.
right? But the thought that at very least, like the kids are getting a bit older, they've simplified it so much, and that it's only going to be that one wire, as you said. So as opposed to like 15 things to do, it's just going to slot right in, bam, away you go. Paired with the power of the PS5, like that is really stunning. That's really interesting.
Yeah, and just to kind of like piggyback on that, my oldest has been to a VR birthday party.
No, what?
Yeah,
What
so
are you talking about?
yeah, so again, just popped in my head. But yeah, back in the summer when COVID was low and people were back out in the world again for a little bit, he got invited to a VR birthday party at one of those, just like a warehouse that has a whole bunch of VR headsets set up as a birthday party. And
Oh my God.
he went there for 2 hours in VR, and he said it was crazy because it was like those room scale ones. So like he could like run around with like 8 other kids in the same room, and they were all doing like a free for all, and then there's a co-op one, and there's team ones. He had a blast. So when he saw this, and he's like, the potential in it. Obviously, it won't be like that, but it's a closer to that kind of picture that he's experienced. But he is all for VR, and again, he's at that older age where he understands more of it, and I'm not as afraid of him being in it and crashing into stuff. So yeah, he's. I mean, I could say you should ask this for Christmas, and maybe we'll see.
Yeah, if you can get him super hyped about it,
Yeah,
and then it's not about this isn't a Jeff present.
no, it's a family gift.
This is a family gift. This is a family VR set. It was actually
Absolutely.
There's a pretty good looking game on the Oculus. I think it's called it's like Squirrel Attack or something to that effect.
Oh,
It's very much a multi-person game. So what happens is the one person is in the Oculus, and then
Okay.
everybody else like jumps in on their phone.
yeah,
And the person in the Oculus is a big tree that can like swipe and throw things, while the squirrels try to run up to the tree and grab nuts.
that's hilarious.
So it's just like multiple like multi-person, multi-room thing where it's like, all right, I'll be the tree this time. You guys, I'll be the squirrels trying to get it, and then you have one friend's in the middle of the room just like swiping his arms like a fool. You're trying to all get in. Those type of experiences like that one, and Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes, which I've talked about on the
right,
podcast
yeah.
before.
Yes.
That type of also like, so the one person is in the VR set, they can see the bomb. Everyone else has physical paper to read through to try to defuse it. The person with the headset's trying to describe it.
Right.
Stupid fun. Everybody should check it out. Also, suffice to say, like what's more interesting with this VR stuff, and I think what becomes more family friendly, like piggybacking off of your conversation about the room scale VR
Yeah.
party in a big warehouse thing run around, like it seems like it's branching out from hypercomputer 50 cords and 18 cameras in
Yeah.
a dedicated room to all these different ways that people can interact with it on a family. I suppose I'm just trying to say for the sake of your family, Jeff.
Right. I'm hearing you. I think it's a must buy, right?
I'm right there with you.
Just saying.
Now so to continue with the VR theme for a second, I think what I'm finding interesting, made all the more so because of these difficult times when you can't really see anyone,
Yeah.
is I'm trying to use my Oculus headset as a means to go beyond the way I usually interact on multiplayer games online.
Oh.
So I'm very much the mic off, silent partner in the background, don't say anything. Like when I was coming up with games, it was just I never did anything online. Never played games online.
Right.
Right. So the entire culture around speaking and interacting and talking with other people online just wasn't really something where I was at. So what I'm finding with Oculus, or what I'm thinking of, is like, why not use this? Like it means nothing. I'm in this metaverse. I'm in this room with this person. Never going to talk to them again. Why not just try to speak with them
Yeah.
in a somewhat, I don't want to call it safe space. That's not the right way to describe it, but like in a non-threatening, non-worrying type of space. Why not use it as an opportunity to practice just talking to other people?
Right.
Like getting even better at becoming a better conversationalist, but also just breaking the barrier in talking to other people and gaming.
Yeah. No, and I will live vicariously through you because I'm one of those people that, again, I was playing Final Fantasy 14 and I don't talk on the mic, and that's hard to do in a online RPG. So yeah, I'm right there with you where it's hard to get on just talk to people when you're kind of, I don't want to say zoned out in the game or even concentrating, but you're trying to have a good time and you're just worried about like, oh, I don't want to hurt your feelings or say that, that maybe I suck at the game, and I don't want to hear that either. So
or sound like a fool, or just
Yeah, I
like
don't
be
know.
berated, which is like,
how aggressive can these spaces get? So like
Yeah.
if you're in there in a virtual form, I think that's even a step above saying like, look at me, I'm actually in this space with you.
So I mean, experiences I did have was one of the bigger games on the Oculus is Population 1.
Okay.
And it's basically just Fortnite in VR. There's less there's less silliness. There's building, but it's not really used as much.
Okay.
You get a wingsuit. It's really well put together. Honestly, it is entirely in VR. There's only other VR players. It's great. It's a lot of fun, but it really helps the team to talk.
Okay.
And I got into a couple games, and it was like, all right, let's just speak.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, like there's just great guys. Like there were just a couple other fellas I had a couple games with. Added one as a friend list after the fact, and it's like, okay, watch it coming up on that way. Oh, great! Can you come back here, revive me? Sure, great. Oh, who needs this gun? Just the banter to keep the game going.
Right.
And it was awesome. It was great. Like perfectly serviceable, and yeah, like it worked to prove my theory that this could be a way to break into speaking with people in these games.
Yeah, and it's kind of well, I guess it's good to just to even get around. I always think I have a commitment to, tuck the kids in bed, or if something happens, I have to leave the game, and my team's like, what are you doing? I'm like,
that I hate.
right? Like it's 10:30, guys. Like I'm trying to wind down here. They're like, what? This is the first match. So if you can, talk to your team and kind of like build that connection and be like, okay, guys, I have to hop out, and that's in like instead of texting in the chat, like, good game, I'm out, and people are kind of like pissed off about that. I think the connection through a vocal and audio, kind of like, hey guys, no, I got it, because there's inflection, right? There's subtlety that you can be like, I gotta go, I got life things, and I think more people are understanding about that, especially in a game like this where it's like a little bit laid back. It's not Call of Duty where people are like, what, you're leaving us down? Like, how are we gonna do this? So kudos to you, man. I don't know if I would do it, but again, if the PSVR 2 comes along, maybe I'll be in that space. I don't know. We'll see.
Mics are non-optional in PSVR 2. You have to have it on at all times. You have to have a video. You have to stream on Twitch. Like,
it'll happen.
It's the defaults.
That it works for me. Let's go.
And on that note, we'll wrap it up there for the week. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can find us on Twitter at New Dad Gaming. You can find us on our website, newdadgaming.com. Do you have suggestions for how to steer your kids to a username they will not instantly regret when they turn 16? Do you have some recommendations for Minecraft and coding camps? Did your kid experience that and it was a good time? Do you want to hook up on Oculus and play some Population 1? Reach out to us at New Dad Gaming, newdadgaming.com. If you like the podcast, it would really mean the world to us. A big thanks again to everyone who left us a review. If you do go on to Spotify, Google Play, any of the major podcasting networks, and leave a review and a comment, it would mean the world to us. It really helps to promote the show to other gaming dads who might enjoy the content. You can also subscribe on all those platforms. It means the world to us as we try to reach out to as many gaming dads as possible and create a posse of VR dads to drop dad puns as we lose terribly to some young 14-year-olds.
See, that's good. I like it.
Till next time, my name is Trevor. I have a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I'll start a VR dad joke simulator, and I have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old.
Just remember, just because you became a dad
does not mean it's game over.